Hello my friends, it is time once again for another video about my um, Garbage Pail Kid collection. So I've already gone through series 1, 2, 3, and 4. My next binder actually covers 3 series, 5, 6, and 7. So let's take a look at it. This is again the totally lame handwritten labels here, but let's see what we got. Starting out with Series 5. This one I have very fond memories of. I think it might have been one of the first series that we got into, and then we sort of went back and dug into the other series, but I could be remembering that wrong. It was many years ago now, but I definitely have fond memories of this series. Mick Dagger here with the sword in his face. Handy Randy. D-faced. These again have the puzzle piece backs, but they also have these, let me spin this a little bit so you can take a look at these, where they basically are giving you like a personnel record almost of one of the characters from Garbage Pail Kids. And some of these are actually characters that appeared in earlier series, so that's kind of interesting. And they give you like their name and where they live even, and all kinds of crazy stuff. Totally loaded with stupid jokes, as usual. Let's see what we have here. Oh, and in terms of variations for this series, let's see. We don't have the copyright variations in this series, but I believe we do have the asterisks, as usual. So I've got a 1 and 2 star of each of these guys, but I don't think there's much like weird beyond that. So there tends to be just like a couple of each card, one with the 1 star and one with the 2 star. And again, this is I think I'm pretty complete on this series. I'm not certain, but and here's their comics nerd guy. Gotta love that guy, who's like super into GPK, of course. This guy is very creepy with these weird like worm things all over him. That one never really. That one always kind of creeped me out. Here's this guy who's like sewn up. This fellow with a gas problem. I like this one very much. I don't know why. I guess it's another one where it's got these great details to it, and it just has a real cool look to it. He's like a building made of a person, or a person made of a building. Here's some more of the backs, and you'll see again, this is a character from, let's see, I think she's from the first series, actually. Yeah, Fat Matt is definitely from the first series, so it's interesting that they go back and they continue to mine the characters that they created early on. They definitely are still doing that in the latest stuff they're doing. I love this guy who's melting, because like, that's just fantastically done. I love the painting, the way his body is just dripping all over. It's just really well done. This one is creepy with the giant insect on the guy. Oh, I love this one too. Again, this is a parody of an actual, like, very famous painting known as the Blue Boy. This one I have a couple extra of. I think this one might have like a weird error on it somewhere. I'm trying to remember. Maybe it's the backs. Let's have a look at the backs. Ah, yes. We have different backs. So this one has either a one of these backs, or it has a puzzle piece back. So you need 3 of each of this card of the A and the B, because there's the 1 star, 2 star of this back, and then there's the puzzle piece back, which doesn't have any stars. So there's no variation there. Aren't these guys? Oh, there was a hole in here. That's why. I was looking ahead at that insect guy. Apparently, I'm missing one of either of the Blue Boy, or maybe it's Lazy Louie I'm missing. I'm not sure. So there's a hole in my collection there. I like this bat guy, just like the colors and the way he's been drawn, is painted, I should say. It's really nice. A lot of nice lighting and details there. Then we've got this guy hanging up. This one is, I mean, showing a character actually like hanging themselves is like pretty questionable, but it's a really cool looking card. Gotta give him that. Great colors and lighting and stuff, as usual. like this one with the graffiti all over this dude. He's just kind of sitting there. He's chill with it. Here's this guy with the safety pin through him. I absolutely love this one. This is one of my favorites. Upside down Donald and Hugh Turn. I think just because it's so weird that he's like upside down and his name is even upside down and like the whole world is upside down behind him. It's just so surreal and weird. And then his comic is like all flipped around and like mirrored, and I don't know. I love that kind of stuff. Then we've got another sideways one here with Fran Furter, which again, great details on the painting. This dude who's eating metal with his metal jaws. He's interesting. Another sideways one, landscape, I should say. Ginger snapped with a rat. Edible Ernie, having a little nibble. This is another weird one where the guy's head has become like a roast. Mel Meal and Ross Roast. That's a creepy cannibalistic one. Again, with lots of details. The nice place setting and all the stuff in the background. This is another one I really like, where I'm not sure why. This kid in a blender. I don't know. I think maybe it's because of the meta thing about with the actual Garbage Pail Kids on the Garbage Pail Kid coming out of the blender. I'm just gonna kill this light because I'm getting too much glare, I think. No, that's not really a lot better, is it? Lighting is the bane of my existence on these videos. I don't understand why I can't figure it out, but sorry, folks. Anyway, there's Gory Rory, who's actually roasting a hand over the fire. It is not his own hand, so we have to wonder where he got that hand. It's a little wearisome. And another great, like, neat little effect here with the smoke coming in front of the logo. I love that kind of stuff. Let's see. And we've got, I'll show you some more of these backs. Got the more of the old school characters showing up on the backs, and we're learning more about their favorite foods and movies. Here's Ben Franklin getting hit by the lightning bolt. I always enjoyed that one. I always like this one too. Again, lots of detail in this one. The meat hanging up and the signs and the wrappings and everything. And the clever joke, delicate Tess. Here's this mirror guy who's shattered. Oh, and this weird one with the girl with the tongue that has a tongue that has a tongue, like infinitely. Oh, and of course, I love the ones where they reference like fine art. It's just fascinating that the juxtaposition of the like gross, crude Garbage Pail Kid with the like this incredibly famous piece of fine art that you'd find in a museum is great. This is of course Dolly's persistence of memory, but now you've got a melting Garbage Pail Kid in the center of it. So there's even the reference to Dolly's name here, Dangling Dolly and Surreal Neil. That's a great one. We've got the Pillsbury Doughboy getting squished, which is fun. This is one of those really gross ones. The snot ones where they're like eating their snot. They're always kind of little much. The balloon guy. This one, someone is getting a little too excited about brushing their teeth. This one I always liked, the guy with he's like, it looks like maybe he's going trick-or-treating or something, but his mask is a human face and his real face is really hideous. That's it's just interesting, fun and surreal and creepy. This one is kind of a parody of that old sunscreen ad, I think. We've got another character with really bad teeth. They've done this concept before, but they kind of took it even a little further with this one. That is really bad. And this fellow who's got a serious drooling problem. This one I love. I love the look of this one. This one is like just a crazy hot rod character with the eyes bugging out, and this it's just a great painting. And this one I always love too. The sort of drama of this one, and the pose and this blast of sound that's like so powerful. His everything inside his head is coming out. That's a great one. Um, yeah, so that's that series, series 5, and I've got the checklist backs over here. They looking good. Um, and for this series again, I have a wrapper. I don't remember how I came across this one. Probably in an eBay bundle purchase. I don't usually try to get the wrappers, but when they come my way, I keep them, of course. So that's just a cool artifact to have, especially when they have like stuff like this, the old sweatshirt offer on the back. I'm guessing you wouldn't get a sweatshirt if you tried to turn that in now, but all right. So let's move right on to the next series, the series 6. This is this is a repeated theme they go with too, of a character who has just really peed far too much, or is like desperately trying to hold their pee or something. That's not one of my favorite type of Garbage Pail Kid cards. Pretty gross. This one is fun with the guy hitting his own eye as a golf ball. And then we've got more of the landscape cards. They're pretty cool. This guy has actually become the ball in a paddle ball. And there's your fellow with a... Oh, this one is interesting because it has one of these different... little bit of a different design. They've got the name done up as a band-aid with the text written on it. So that's a... always like the little different spin they put on some of them. This guy has bones sticking out, which is strange. This one is very surreal and interesting too. That I like. This guy who's just got his... he's just floating like a balloon over his own body, as is his ice cream. It's just, that's a weird one. I like that one. This guy's been put together wrong, it looks like. I always like this one too, this paint by number person. It's a very cool kind of look to it. Kind of surreal and creepy. This one's pretty neat too. Again, there's a lot of drama to this pose and this painting. So, oh, and I should say the backs for this one have these. These are almost like the comics that would come with your with Bazooka bubblegum. They're these really stupid comics on the back, and then they even have like ads for fake products. And they're using old characters from previous series of Garbage Pail Kids in these comics. And again, you have the puzzle piece backs like usual. Excuse me. And this series is, again, not a lot of variations in this series. We just got the 1-star, 2-star backs. Nothing too fancy. And some of them don't even have 1-star, 2-star backs. Like this one is a puzzle piece back with no asterisks on it. So I literally only have 1A and 1B of that one, which is shocking. That one's kind of fun. It's this incredibly tiny man, almost being stepped on here. This is a really gross one with the giant thumbs and an ironed person. This one is very strange with the clone with like all these tiny people coming out of this one person. This one is neat. You know, I always love the ones that are like really surreal. This one is like a person made of glass who is shattering themselves by singing. Another weird one here with this guy who seems to be like almost like a slinky toy of some sort. This one I love. It's just really cool looking. The lighting, this kind of like a monstrous idol kind of creature. It's probably not, it's not very culturally sensitive, but then this is Garbage Pail Kids, so what do you expect? Pagan Megan and Montezuma. But it's great art there. These ones are just kind of gross. Bees. This guy stuck in the water cooler is kind of fun. And this guy with incredibly long eyeballs that she actually has to roll around in a wheelbarrow. That's pretty wild. This is something that gets repeated a number of times throughout Garbage Pail Kids too. Is characters like this with like tools and like nails stuck in them. I think they even reused this name, Manuel Labor, in a later series. I know they definitely tried to never repeat names, but I think every once in a while they gave up and they just did repeat them because there's only so many stupid name jokes you can make, I guess. This one I liked again because I like the details on this one, the background and the phone and all the cigarettes laying around. This one is really neat looking, the colors and everything, and the face repeated in these slices. This one is really cool too. This guy is like assembled of all these pieces of garbage, which is, I mean, he's even called Trash Can Ken. I'm pretty sure we had a very similar character to this already with a very similar name, but you know, they did even, it was only series 5 and they were already starting to run out of ideas, I think. There's a lot of repeated themes and stuff here. This one is pretty funny. This one reminds me of like Warner Brothers cartoons. This guy stuck in the cage having apparently eaten the bird in there. Ugly Hans. Stupid joke, but I like it. This is the vacuum cleaner character. This guy is, again, they often do guys in like hot rods or punk looking guys. It's kind of a return to that theme. This guy blowing up. Geriatric. Yeah, they do old people a lot too. Wrinkled up characters. This guy has really quite a lot of weird stuff in his ears. Or she or he, I'm not sure. No, there's a whole run of landscape orientation cards here, which is interesting. You see the details on some of these are just really great. So much going on in this. It's just a simple painting, but there's all this stuff going on in the background. It's great. This one I really love too. The art on this one and the concept of this like tree growing out of this guy, it just looks great. I mean, it actually looks like, you know, they mention surrealist, they reference surrealist paintings in a number of places, and it really feels like an actual surrealist painting. It's very cool. This person who has become a welcome mat. This series has a lot of landscape oriented cards, which is interesting. I think I forget what series they introduced that in. It might have been 3rd or 4th, because the first couple they were all portrait. They were all sort of basic, and then they started to wander off into different orientations and ideas. This guy is fun, bathing in the urinal. Gross, but fun. There's another car one. It's very similar to that other one we saw, but now the guy himself is a car. Let's see. Oh, and this one, again, I love the sort of meta ones where it's a GPK that's about GPK. And this is a GPK who is like literally peeling himself off the card, which is just great. And he's even called GPK with this one. And his other version is Hector Collector. So I enjoy that one very much. We've got the guy with lots of heads. And this dude blowing himself up, which is another popular theme with Garbage Pail Kids. And here's our checklist cards. Always love a good checklist card. And the last series for this video is Series 7. Barf is another theme that we always return to. Here's Barf and Barbara and Valerie Vomit. And usually the barf is being consumed or something like that. Really gross. This one is a GPK that is also utters, which is slightly disturbing. And again, it's another one of these landscape ones. And another one where we've got pus and pimples. Really disgusting. Thank you for that, GPK. Now this one, we've got a variation here where this guy has, so these are both rust pus, but you'll see they have 2 different backs. So another one of those back variations. When we get into some of the holiday cards, there are actually, I think, a number of Christmas-themed cards. This guy appears to be a robber dressed as Santa Claus. Chris Mess and Sandy Claude. I have a couple of him too. Let's see what that's about. Oh, that's just a asterisk variation. So there's a 1 and 2 asterisks. This guy with his giant target butt. He seems pleased with his position, even though he's full of arrows. So I'm glad he's happy. I like this one, even with the barf connection. It's just it's a person who has become a slot machine. That's fun. It's another fun one too, where this is another one of these like meta type ones where this guy is a cut up character cutting himself out. That's pretty cool. Another one with mouths all over him. Mickey Mouse. Oral, Laurel, Grilled, Gill. And this is another one. They've already done this before. We saw where the smoke goes in front of the logo, but it's still a neat effect. And and this is one of the first times where they return to a character they've already done, and this is one of their most famous characters, Atom Bomb, but now he's Atom Boom, and the explosion, you can see his head is still blown up from the original card, but now his butt is exploding when he presses the button, so we've sort of taken in another step. And this one has, so he's Atom Boom, and then his alternate is Blasted Billy 2, because remember Blasted Billy was the B version of Atom Bomb, but there's an interesting variation here, where you'll notice that the logo is usually blue, and it is blue in this version of Blasted Billy 2. In this version, it is purple, and that is a pretty rare variation. I believe I had to pay a ridiculous amount of money for this card. So there you go. That's an interesting variation. And there's a similar variation in this card. You'll see that this guy, Gooey Huey, this disgusting snot, there's his alternate is Bobby Booger, and again, this guy has a purple logo, but I also have a version with a blue logo, which is the sort of, I guess you would call it the correct version, and this is the error variation where for whatever reason the logo was colored the wrong color. And then we've got this guy who's a jar and his brain is coming out. That's pretty cool. Gross and cool. Brainless Brian. And in terms of the backs for this series, we're again, they're sticking with this motif of these sort of character descriptions where they give you information about one of the older GPK characters. This guy is in fact the #1 character from the first series. And then another painting reference here. We've got the Van Gogh character, Vincent Van Gogh. I love this one. Great, the swirls in the background to imitate his style, and him cutting his ear off, like, of course, the painter is known to have done. So, just a great reference there. Really well done. Then we've got the toilet again. Another favorite motif in GPK. Pete Seed and Noel Bowl. And yeah, more of these backs, and 1 star, 2 stars. And we've got another landscape guy here blowing their face off with a hairdryer. That one's pretty cool. Just splattered against the wall. I like this one too. This guy looks like a playing card, the king on a playing card. Roy L. Flush, shuffled Sherman. Always liked him. There's something particularly weird about it, that he's just kind of floating there in this like empty background, dripping like drool, and he's carrying plungers. It's just very strange and abstract and cool. I enjoy that. Here's a person with their tongue literally tied. They often did stuff with tongues, with characters with really big tongues, or tongues that had tongues, or tongues tied up, or and then we've got the pilgrim guy in the stocks. He's got splattered with a bunch of stuff. William Penned. It's nice. Here's a person who is a pencil sharpener. It's very strange. And again, the cooking cannibal motif that comes up a lot. This is another like great one where they just got great lighting and background and color going on in this one. Cannibal Stew, and his book says, "You are what you eat." You are indeed Cannibal Stew. Bruin Bruno. And this one is pretty gross. the kid being carried by the stork, but the kid is a Garbage Pail Kid, so he has torn the stork's leg off and is eating it. Lovely. Isn't this one is funny. Just ridiculous, like cartoony kind of face squishing, eye bugging kind of thing going on here. Elastic Elwood, Fletcher stretcher. And it's another one of the fun landscape orientation ones. I've always loved this one, Haunted Forest. Reminds me of the trees in Wizard of Oz. Just very kind of creepy and surreal. I love the little details as usual. This poor guy getting squished. Or girl, I should say. Looks like I'm missing one here. Probably, so this is J. Prey. And it's got 2 stars on the back. It looks like I'm missing the 1-star J. Prey. Perhaps one day I will find that one. Here's Wheelbarrows come up a surprising amount of times. Oh, that one, yeah. And we got these banana ones. I feel like there might be another purple logo variation there, but I'm not 100%. But I'm clearly missing a version of Vanessa Undresser. Maybe it's just a star variation that I'm missing. Yeah, I'm probably just, looks like I'm just missing the 2-star of Vanessa Undresser. This one I love. Of course, these came out in the 80s when the Rubik's Cube came out and was really big, so they had to do a Rubik's Cube card. They always try to stay on top of pop culture, and whatever's big, they try to do a parody of. So that one's fun. The guy's head all flipped around. And this one I love, where the guy, the smiley face pin has been swapped with his head. Have a nice Dave. I always love that name too. It's just, surreal and funny. Miles smiles. This poor fellow is only a head, but he's still happy and selling us pencils. Good for him. Noah Body. That's a terrible joke that I enjoy. Yeah, we're getting near the end now. Here's a fella with some really bad feet. So, a lot of these, they just like, well, what body part can we make really disgusting this time? Let's go with the feet. So, this guy kind of like this interesting, him being like stuck in this machine. And you'll see this of him, his skin cracking. This is something I think they started to focus on more from this series on, where they tried to really emphasize that, no, these are dolls. They're like Cabbage Patch dolls. So it's not an actual like living thing, or it is somehow alive, I guess, but like, they wanted to make it, I guess, a little bit less like gruesome. Or I don't know exactly what the concept was, but they wanted to make them more like dolls. So they had them like their flesh being cracked like this, so you could see that they're just a doll. It's an interesting detail. I always love the alien ones. Here's the alien Alan. It's really quite large compared to the astronauts there. Martian Marcia. There's another one of these with, like, remember we saw that one earlier with the girl with the tongues, and there was a tongue in it, and that tongue had a tongue, and so forth. And this many heads, each head has another head popping out of the top of it. This weird, like, infinite progression that seems to come up a lot. This poor person has been splattered across the windshield. Sheila. Hitting Ronnie. This is another fun one that's a reference to Georges Méliès, one of the first films ever made, with the rocket hitting the moon. A Trip to the Moon, I believe the movie is called. So this one is fun. Halley Comet, June Moon. We've got a really unfortunate needle thing going on here. A Pristine Vaccine and Medicate. And again, this is another one of those ones where the picture is coming in front of the logo, which is kind of neat. This poor guy stuck in the anthill with like honey all over him. Ugh. That one's rough. This one is another interesting variation card, I believe. Let me see if I'm... Yes. So this one, the A one, there's not really a variation. It's just, there's Staircasey. There is a 1 and 2 star, of course, but it's the B one that has the interesting variation. So the B card is called Alexander the Great, and you'll see, unlike the A version, in the A version we had the number in white in the corner, which is what we would normally see. But in this one, instead of making the number white so it would show up on the dark background, they kept it dark but moved it to the center, which was an interesting choice. And I think they later then changed their minds about that, because you'll see here's another version of Alexander the Great where it's more like the A card, where it's the numbers in white and in the corner. So that's another expensive variation to get. I forget which one is actually more rare, if it's the black number in the center or the white number in the corner. I think the white number in the corner is actually, strangely, the more rare version. But yeah, I've got the 1 and 2 star, both of those. So, and then finally, we've got a couple more. This poor fellow who's had a gymnasium accident. This guy who was throwing his own head as a baseball. Homer Runt. And Screwball Lou. And then the final card of this series, this guy with the stapled stuff all over him. Not one of the best to end on, but it's, you know, it's okay. Anyway, there you go. That's series 5 through 7. Hope you liked looking through them with me. I enjoyed it, and I will probably show you more soon. We'll be moving on to series 8. And I've got other cards and other Garbage Pail Kid memorabilia I can show you. So thanks for watching.